So, welcome everyone for another update, another day, another 20% project here. And so this is now fully native here on the M1 Max, MacBook Pro here, as you see the corner there. I have the feeling I probably should actually check that. So what is the load? So yeah, right now no hardware acceleration, so wow, 580, yeah, so that is a little bit CPU bound. Of course, plenty of pixel in this native resolution. So here, that sucks a little bit. Recurring theme, that all this stuff needs to be reverse engineered, and those people have already done a tremendous job doing so, but there's of course a mountain of work still left. GPU, video. So right now, of course, I stream with the HDMI capture card. YouTube does not receive enough bandwidth. So yeah, no surprise there. That is basically a test, and this test is even at least the audio. Check 1, 2, 3. Looks like maybe the audio is at least not broken. Monitoring that here on my own smartphone. What is also, plenty of stuff. Also no built-in keyboard, obviously. So my precious external, good to have some wired stuff around. Also, no Ethernet, right? No Wi-Fi. There are Wi-Fi patches. I mentioned that. But yeah, right now the fan you hear in the background, that is of course an unmatched RISC-V board to connect us with the interwebs. I slightly wonder what. So yeah, this of course needs. What is OBS even? Yeah, also OBS says 62%. I mean, yeah. So OBS already says only 18 frames rendered, and that is going well. So the do we have XDPI? Probably not like that display. This will probably also not work, or will it? Display equals XDPI info. No protocol specified. Yeah, whatever. So the stuff builds relatively fast. I actually wanted to show the whole desktop and stuff, but X-shared memory capture did not just work. I could actually check if it works. No, maybe no. Maybe because there. So this is simple DRM. So this is full software blitted simple DRM frame buffer style. Xorg mode setting. Hopefully, actually, I didn't check what this are, but it must be mode setting var adn log. So basically, I was fighting here for hours to even get to that state. At least we have a nice mechanical keyboard, so that should be mode setting. Let's see. Here, of course, it's mode set. Fully unisolated, and not sure what's going on, why XOBS full screen capture doesn't work, because I capture this window. But yeah, Navarro asks, would really like to buy one, but actually need to run them company and not port ARM64 Linux desktop for 6 months. Yeah, exactly. So that is what you want to support, Asahi Linux project and us, of course. As I said in the previous live streams, if you have not watched those, or you probably want to watch those, and Patreon and GoFundMe and stuff, because all the stuff is a lot of work. The Asahi project, of course, doing the reverse engineering and then expecting upstream distributions like ours to pick the stuff up. So yeah, plenty of work, and unfortunately Firefox is crashing again. Can I show you? Probably not. Oh, by the way, display. That actually works. So this is a native resolution, at least it should be the native resolution. That, 3024 by 1964 something. So yeah, that is why this also eats that much CPU cycles, needs hardware, video encode and stuff. And so Firefox crashes. I need to tackle that next, like over the weekend. It was previously working on the PinePhone with our ARM64 build, but quite some updates have, I think I rebuilt GDM for GDB But oh, now we get something of, what is it? Not that this would be this, of course, without. So yeah, it's throwing an exception intentionally. I guess it has raised there. So whatever is going on there, something's going on. And the sad thing is, how many are those even? Or what is this? Is still, this is a little bit confusing. Whatever. It might be simply going away without LTO or without the elf hack. I just recently had this re-enabled. So much to our T2 stuff. Everything just builds on testing and more testing. And recurring theme, right? I intentionally didn't want to buy the first generation M1. Now we have M1 Max. Also for my company, right? Writing code on Mac OS. And I didn't want to have 16 gig of memory. And like 1 year in, and it's like, yeah, booting is complicated. And preferably a previous video with some Snowflake cable or other M1 Mac. And even then, by the way, do we show something useful? Maybe we don't really. Tomorrow, better camera angle. So yeah, next I need to build Firefox. So the next release of T2, we are a little bit delayed with all this testing and most testing. and good that we do so. I probably should start it to do on just this machine as well, because not only Firefox but also GL headers, I recently changed there something, and that does not just yet build everything. So yeah, and also Qt5 is like XCB utils image or so, something. So that is a little bit annoying. Usually I complain when I build stuff and it errors out with optional dependencies not there, and Qt5 like builds for, build time, by the way, I think I mentioned this in the beginning, right? 25 minutes for Qt5, that is not that bad. That is probably Ryzen 5900 territory. And I'm not even sure if the clocks are right now at the full speed. Need to check with Asahi people or reverse engineering, whatever the clocks run right now of the SoC and the CPU. And yeah, 25 minutes, that may or may not be the maximum performance. There, of course, is not, of all the stuff that needs to be reverse engineered, CPU frequency driver, and plus all the other fun stuff. By the way, I have not even LSPCI. Oh, that is not much. Only PCI bridges. Is there not much? Why is there not? Should there not be stuff? That is a little bit. I would have thought there should be more. Like Wi-Fi and stuff. But maybe the device tree, previous videos, the device tree might still be wrong. Yeah, greetings everyone. By the way, this is a Rust stream. And that is the irony, right? If I have actually some AAA products that I should actually freaking after here on the more main channel do freaking product review videos, because basically everything is more watched than this random stuff. And yeah, that is a sad thing, right? If I sit here and integrate and debug all this stuff, then at the end of the day, the streams, I'm totally aware, I said this 100 times, and welcome Dieter and welcome everyone. These streams are the least successful, although this was the concept of I share here my work and integration and stuff, and yeah, I actually need to do some reality checking and stuff. Another data point is we have here some, by the way, which modules are loaded. So for the NVMe, so I run NVMe of Mark Hahn's latest, so nearly latest, of course, code of everything, because otherwise we wouldn't have M1 Max boot up. And so NVMe is, of course, the cursed Apple NVMe specification violating. That is Apple SNA also, or ANS, Apple NS, there it is. And it looks like this has 16K sector sizes, so I couldn't get BetterFS to work. Usually I would run BetterFS compression set standard, but that didn't want to mount. Although I then reformatted with BetterFS sector size 16K, and it still complained like, yeah, I wouldn't, Linux kernel doesn't support currently 16K sector sizes, or yeah, whatever. So yeah, running X4, not preferred stuff. I did already, so again, this is native, right? I did already commit, LibreSSL, fun stuff, data did that. I committed already some stuff from this machine. Some of the last commits, I was working on this already for quite some hours today. So yeah, OBS Studio update and BTOP. By the way, did I? Ah, darn, did I? Why did... but surely, what did I? Did I not export that off? What? No UTF, what have I done wrong there now? Maybe also export. I'm a hero. Yeah, that does also not look amazing with UXVT Unicode. Yeah, but some updates already came from this machine. Now I need, yeah, just again to summarize that, and then I need to rush back to the family for some late dinner, obviously, and playing with Junior time and stuff, bringing him to bed. That to summarize this, a lot of drivers are not there. A lot of drivers will not be there for probably some year easily. If you would want to use this, there is, maybe I should make a dedicated video about the current feature matrix. But for us, of course, the GPU stuff, there is not yet downstream out of tree patch for probably mode setting for the display controller, DCP, I think, to control the video out mode. But the 3D stuff, there is some 3D stuff, but that runs proof of concept in user space of macOS. I would expect that taking months, if not a year, to come to Linux, because I would expect also at least a month, right? Maybe 6 months to something somewhat usable, because, or even longer, that's a tremendous amount of work that even myself have zero, with all this YouTube stuff. I basically over budget all my free time already with everything going on, obviously. And I need to maintain all the other architectures and get T2 in otherwise releasable state. And that means first debugging Firefox, whatever is cross-compiling wrong there. So yeah, 3D a month away. I would expect the kernel memory management and command validation, command buffer and stuff, command ring driver, however that works in detail on this Apple hardware, to take 6 months or longer. So for me, that is of course, yeah, if you are a hardcore Linux distribution user like myself, of course I can use this as a glorified thin client with some decent terminal and simple DRM, but this is of course not something normal people would run at home, and welcome everyone. Then of course for my YouTube live streaming, video encode would certainly be welcome. We also don't have that, obviously, as you can see there. And this kind of drivers, I would expect everything having higher priority than like for some crazy YouTubers like ourselves, video encode. And as much as I would love to hack on those drivers, I have zero time. I have like differently important stuff to do and like write my own microkernel. So due to the nature of that, I will integrate this and make this the smoothest experience possible with T2, as reverse engineered down and upstream, but I cannot help with that. This high profile people work on this already. They have their Patreon funding. It is amazing. I just don't have time to allocate for that, to help with that. I have some reverse engineering will come to this channel. For example, we theoretically have this Epiphan USB 3 DVI dongle thing. So I rather spend my efforts, I leave those experts that are standing on those shoulders of those giants, amazing people. They certainly got this. And we continue with our stuff, P3 drivers, Epiphan and microkernel. And we will integrate this. So right now the booting is complicated. I boot this fully, by the way, I boot this fully native without a second, like undongled, like untethered. Except right now I need to theoretically put some script into my init.rd, because right now I need to type some commands into the init.rd. Yeah, so what do we have on the to-do? And then we call this a day for today. Firefox, yeah, GL headers, so some like, I also wonder if we should console kit by default for OBS. This pulls audio. And theoretically, like, yeah, like nice boot init rd function and the Apple, what is it, ANS, ls mod of Apple ANS does not auto load, and obviously the M1 device tree update stuff, latest and greatest drivers. So yeah, so that's basically it. Otherwise, CPU processing time. Also, yeah, we probably could optimize that. Maybe we need to build this. Probably is. Do we have here logs of x2? Oh, we don't even have that x package 265, whatever OBS is using right now. Maybe we should, or probably ffmpeg. So yeah, maybe we can squeeze some more software performance out of that, optimizing that probably for some neon assembly or something that might not be actually. Let's put this on the to-do. So basically on each machine we have long growing to-dos. So ARM, 64 neon and whatnot. Optimizations, basically optimizing the heck out of the software infrastructure so that we could probably use that. Yeah, so last but not least, I probably should capture, what is ls USB, that is though mostly the hub, so that is also not like that, but yeah. So this is my dongle, because obviously dongles. So yeah, my keyboard, the dongles, probably. Yeah, I will create a T2 hardware listing site, and by the way, if you wanna see a CPU that looks like that, by the way, we could probably emerge neo fetch. Probably don't also, yeah, why are. What is the latest? Somehow they changed just the last days, neo fetch. I probably need to change all the GitHub URLs. It looks like they upstream. Super annoying. So archive refs tags and then probably tar gset or something. Something of that sort. I need to check what. So it looks like they have removed something. I need to poke GitHub a little bit. What's going on there? If you have some, does that come down? Hopefully something. So that looks like apparently. Yeah, and then the next month, I said this before, we need to make the end user experience with T2 better so people can make the most use of that. So Dash asks, is it from M1? Yes, it's from M1. This is why this is a little bit laggy. Neo fetch, because too much software. Oh, you know what? We also need a better neo fetch logo somehow. Better neo fetch artwork. Because obviously. So yeah, Apple MacBook Pro 14-inch M1 Max 2021. There you have it. And emerge time, 10 CPUs. Actually, I slightly wonder, macOS restricts hypervisor framework to the 8 performance cores. I wonder if the 2 efficiency cores have hardware virtualization support, or if we can path more cores down to Linux. Anyway, so yeah, there we have that. That's basically it for this video. I hope you will learn something. Leave in the comments below what you want to see. The performance, although actually, by the way, performance, I'm not sure. I think I mentioned this, right? We have no CPU frequency scaling yet. I'm not sure into which performance state or M1, N1 mini bootloader prints out something like, was it P7 or whatever. I'm not sure if that is the highest performance state of those cores. We need to check. So Z performance might not be the maximum performance. Dr. Schubert asked, does KVM work on M1? Yes, it does. And according to, I have not tested this, but it's there. But I also read some months ago already from Hector Martin, that the Linux performance was even better. So virtualization performance on M1 on Linux was better than Apple, because the Linux programmers, reverse engineering people, have implemented some, whatever it was, something like interrupt or something like that sort, or IOMMU optimizations or something of that sort. So Linux was using some more advanced features, more optimized than macOS itself. It sounded like macOS in the meantime got that too, because they tweeted something like, we had this earlier or something. So yeah, crazy stuff. 2021 virtualization performance on Linux M1 was faster, earlier, better than on Apple's macOS. So did you run any? So yeah, that is UI, right? So I'm running. I just can't capture the live stream, but except I could turn the camera around or change that video capture. Somehow I can't capture the desktop for some whatever simple DRM, but capturing that itself. So I'm running here Qt5. I'm running Xorg right now, although Sway and Wayland might be a little bit more efficient. Due to the nature of simple DRM, it's just not as full-featured as, but we are working on it, so that would be that. And yeah, so Qt works, Firefox crashes, but that is certainly a generic thing, and that I will, yeah, debugging. I'm most likely it's either a Rust regression or Firefox regression, or simply we changed Firefox recently to LTO, link time optimize, and elfhack. So I will simply rebuild Firefox without LTO and without the elfhack and see if that comes up then and report back. Anyway, yeah, I will collect all those patches in T2. There is wireless, so maybe I fiddle around with wireless because it's super annoying to have a USB dongle and a RISC-V unmatched board to have a wireless gateway, obviously. But maybe I even package the DCP display coprocessor or something for better mode setting or other outputs or something. And yeah, all this stuff on the to. Actually, you know what, let's put this on the to-do and then call it a day. Where is my... I'm not sure if maybe there is not yet a built-in keyboard, as I said, for normal users. Probably for years buy something else if you're not a hardcore developer. Due to other natures, but package DCP and some BCM, whatever variant. It's a little bit tiny, to be honest. Font also plus what? Plus I'm not using this 10 kilos keyboard at most. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's it finally. Hope you learned something. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Patreon, GoFundMe, or whatever you fancy. That would be amazing. Otherwise, have a good day or night, and I hope to see you soon for all those next live streams to come and patches and stuff.